Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. If you're new here, my name is Kit, and today's video is going to be a little bit different. I recently lost a rod to a fish, and then I got a Kansas trip coming up, and I figured, I'm going to pre-tie some rigs. That way I don't have to mess too much with tying rigs when I'm down there. And just figured, you know what, I might as well make a video on it. And the thing is about my lost rod, the stuff that I got to replace it with isn't really the same kind of tackle. It was like a medium light jigging rod for like walleyes and stuff. It was like my favorite setup. I put a casting reel on it, and then 2 weeks later hopped on a boat. A fish took it. Man, there's like so much stuff down there. I don't get it. I don't know what those are. They're not biting, whatever they are. Oh my god, I did.
Oh my.
Oh! Then I ended up replacing it with another casting reel, but with a bait feeder and a bigger size, and I got a smaller catfish rod. So I don't know how that worked out like that, but it is what it is. Anyways, I'm going to show you guys what kind of rigs and setups I use for catfishing. I know I don't really talk about it in my videos that much, but I'm going to use this opportunity to do that. So what I like to do is I got this worm bag. It's usually for like bass fishing and stuff. It's water resistant. I wouldn't call it waterproof. It's like a mustad. But it's got all these folders and stuff. And I pre-tied some rigs and put into these folders, or not folders, these Ziplocs here. It's just way easier pre-tying stuff instead of just trying to tie stuff while especially when you're out in the kayak. It's a pain in the ass. But I noticed I want to upgrade some of my line. I had 50-pound mono before. I forgot what brand it was. Maybe Slime Line. I think it was Slime Line. But I forgot I had this 60-pound Whisker Seeker leader line. Pretty sure any mono just works fine because it's all mono anyways. There might be, I don't know, something different in this formula compared to like just regular mono line, because there's like leader lines and then just regular mono line, even though they're both mono. But anyways, yeah, this is 60-pound. I lost a fish on that 50-pound line, so I'm gonna upgrade my leaders just a tad. And one thing I noticed, there's a few rigs in here that I don't use very often, or they're kind of old or beat up. So I'll switch out rigs here and there. But like this line, it feels like it's getting kind of brittle. I mean, it's probably been in here for over a year, but it's been used, because yeah, this line's definitely been used, because I switch out rigs, throw them in here, that way I'm not cutting, retying all the time. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with this one, since I gotta retie this 10-aught hook with this 60-pound line. These have boomerang clips, but they're in my truck. Just use scissors for this part. So I like using the knotless snell, or knotless knot, whatever you want to call it. And basically, like the name says, there's no knot involved other than the loop that I use to clip on to my the rest of my rig. I'll feed this through the front, the front part of the eye. And I personally like the offset hooks, because the points kind of off center here, and the octopus style hooks because they bend back. It just gives you more room to work with. So we'll do about a foot or so. Just go a little bit longer. Anyways, yeah, just straight through the top like that. Then we're gonna take this end and then we're gonna wrap it around like, let's give it like 7 times. Lucky number 7. More doesn't hurt. Let's see, 5 wraps, 6, 7, 8. This thicker line kind of helps you guys see too. So you kind of want to hold it together and then pull this up, and then now there you go. This is kind of short actually. It's okay. You don't need it super long. And up here I like to do a figure 8 loop. So So you kind of make a loop here, and then you fold it over once. So basically cross it over itself one time. Hope you guys can see. And then we'll take this ending loop, fold it back behind. And then if you guys can see here, it's got that figure 8 right here. That's why it's called a figure 8 loop. Then you just pull it all tight. And yeah, there you go. It's a little shorter than I was wanting it to be, but it'll be fine. Like, I would use this for suspending, like suspending my bait straight down anyway, so it's not that big of a deal. So that's one snelled hook right here. Alright, so this next rig I'm going to show you guys is the Santee Cooper rig. So let's say your sinker's here. Let's pretend this hand is the bottom. So as this thing's pulling along on the bottom, keeps it from dragging in the mud, getting caught up on stuff, and you know, fish feed up. This is generally speaking. Maybe catfish feed down or up, or maybe they don't care, because you know, you can catch fish with or without the float. But if you're mobile and stuff, you know, and this thing's dragging along on the bottom, it's, you know, it's gonna get covered up in mud and whatnot if you don't have this float. And that's what the float's for. Keeps your bait off the bottom. Let me show you guys how I tie this up. Okay, so we're gonna make this one a little bit longer, maybe like a foot or so. I'm gonna zoom you guys in a little bit more. All right, so right here I got an 8/0 hook, 8/0 octopus circle hook. I think it's 8/0. Hold on, let me see here. Yeah, it's an 8/0. I don't know what brand it is, because I got these Whisker Seeker ones, and there's a slight variation to the gap in the shank, but it's pretty similar. Anyways, same thing, just up through the top here. Oh yeah, make sure I cut off enough. Like, I'll cut this one a little bit longer. So yeah, this is about maybe 18 inches or so. I'm gonna take this end and then just wrap it around, like, I don't know, 8 times or so. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're gonna take the tag end. And I'm trying to hold all these twists together too, so it doesn't come undone. And we'll pull it right back through the back here. Pull it tight. And it'll come, you know, it'll loosen up a little bit, which is fine. I mean, it doesn't look as neat, but I've never really had an issue with it. So now what I'm gonna do here, ooh, you know what? I'm gonna put one of these new rattles on here. It's kind of like an extra step. But yeah, so the float's gonna go on. And I try to keep like at least an inch between the float and the hook. And I'll explain why in a little bit. So this is a peg float. You got this hollow float here. And then you just pushing this peg at the end. And they make some with like has a slit in here, which I think is pretty nice, because you can take off the float without redoing the whole rig, opposed to this where you gotta undo this rig and then you know, if you want to make any adjustments to it. But the ones with the slit in here, you just pop them off. But anyways, so I got a little gap right here, and the reason for that is because I don't want the bobber getting in the way of the fish coming to get the bait. So like, okay, just floating around in the water, so the fish can come and grab it. And then what that's gonna do is the hook's gonna slide in the fish's mouth, and then it's gonna grab just like that. So that's why I don't want this all the way down here. You know, it's just gonna be an extra thing for them to grab onto. It makes a huge difference. And then I'm gonna put this little rattle on. This is kind of new. It's kind of like shaped like a bullet. So I think I want this to face towards my line. So if these are anything like the old rattles, they should float. So this thing's floating out like this. It should go up against my bobber just like that. And it's gonna be spinning down there, making noise. Not necessary, but you know, it's just that little extra edge. I got clips on my main line. That way, you know, that's why I put on these loops. That way I can switch them out easy. Then if I want to adjust the depth of the bobber, I can always take that peg off and then slide that bobber up and down on the line to whatever depth I desire. Again, so you got your loop here, and we're going to do one overhand. So now you got a little loop and a big loop, and then you're going to bring this back behind the little loop. Then it's going to look something like that. Then now we're going to take the ending loop and feed it through. So here you go, you got your figure 8, something like that. Yeah, right there. You just pull it all together. Then you wet it a little bit too. Here we go, 60-pound mono. Hopefully I catch a giant with this one. Little river certified reference there. Spencer fans will know. But yeah, that's gonna be my setup for this upcoming Blue Cat trip here. So yeah, I'm gonna just tie a couple of these rigs up. So my buddy Chris, he gave me a tip that, you know, after a couple of days of hard fishing, or maybe even a day of hard fishing and catching fish, those catfish got like, they got those teeth pads, and then their spines too. You know, they're not necessarily sharp, but they got like a jagged edge. And when you're fighting those fish are like twirling around, your line's getting beat up. It helps to redo your rigs, even though, you know, you're not necessarily breaking off. But over time, your line's gonna weaken, and then when you get that big fish, like me, and then you go grab the leader, they're gonna break you off. You don't want to grab the leader anyways, but maybe if I had some fresh leaders on, would have been okay. Maybe. So I'm gonna go grab my other rod, and then I'm gonna rig up this big bowl to show you guys how I'm gonna do that. Alright, I'm back. So yeah, what was I gonna, oh yeah, I was gonna show you guys how to rig up this bad boy. So basically it's the same concept as that Santee Cooper rig from earlier, but it's just a bigger version. Bigger float, you put a bigger bait on there. That's why I'm using this 10-aught circle hook here. This is gonna be for like those big heavy pieces, like the big, like fist size head pieces. Smaller heads probably be okay with this float, but for those really truly big pieces, when I want to use this guy right here. So this one's a little bit different because you know, you don't feed the line through. I think they sell them pre-rigged, but they got like a wire leader on one end, and you tie your leader onto this end. But yeah, I don't have the wire leader part, so I'm just gonna do, you know, a little leader to the float, and then another leader towards that will clip onto my main line. Same as always, back through the front. I mean, if anybody watches this whole video, they're probably gonna get pretty good at tying these rigs up. Through the front, and then just take this part, wrap it around. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We'll do 8. Then I'm gonna gently slide it all up. That way it just looks a little bit cleaner. We'll keep this real short, like a couple inches, 2-3 inches. And you just gotta make sure you put it up that you can tie off. So I'm just gonna snell this back through here. Yep, through the back. Here we go. Now we got a short, super short leader. And then we're gonna take this, and then I'm just gonna do like a fisherman's knot here, or a clinch knot, whatever you want to call it. So you guys all know that knot. So you just feed it through this little eye, and then just twist it however many times. Since this line's kind of thick, it's kind of tougher. Okay, 4 or 5 times, then back through the loop on this end here. See the tag end? Yeah. And just wet it down. You gotta make sure the tag end doesn't pull back through. So kind of like bite it down. Yeah, bite it like a little monkey. You know, make sure you wet all this. Probably should have made it a little bit longer so I had more to work with. Kind of just squeeze everything down. Just want to make sure it doesn't come undone when you're fighting a big fish, because that'll be a sad day. Probably should have wrapped this around a few more times, but it seems okay. Yeah, I probably should have wrapped it a couple more times. I should have gave myself more to work with. but I think that'll be all right. Yeah, so this is gonna hang in the water just like this. Now for this end, I'll just do the same knot that I did on this ring here. So I'll give myself a little bit more slack to work with. Yeah. So just do the ring, and we'll twist around like 5-6 times. There we go. I think that was like 5 or 6. Put it back through the loop, then get this all wet. It's probably better to use pliers with this thick line. Come on. Push this down. Just pull on everything. Ooh, that's not very clean now, is it? That might slip, but it ain't slipping right now. Then I'm just gonna leave these tag ends for extra security. And then we'll do about 1 foot or so. Just wanna make sure that this side is longer than this side, because if this side is shorter, your bait's just gonna be dragging on the bottom like this. Yeah, we'll do about this long. Yeah. Okay, so I think you guys get the gist of it. I'm gonna tie up multiple rigs of those 3 types that I just did, because you know, if you break off, then you just reach in your little bag, pull it out of whatever pouch you need to. So I'm gonna do that real quick, and then I'll show you guys how I actually put it onto my whole setup here. Alright, so I just got done tying up a whole bunch of different kind of rigs, and probably gonna make a big tangle, but got some with big floats, some with big hooks, some with no floats, some with rattles, some without. This whole mess here, bunch of Santee Cooper rigs. There's no right or wrong way to rig these up. It's just you gotta experiment, see what works for you. I mean, obviously I got like 3 or 4 different ways I'm rigging these up. But yeah, now the question is, so how do I put these onto my rod? You know, how do I apply that? So I'm gonna show you guys that real quick. Okay, so here's my catfish setup. It's just got a round reel. It's like 7/6, medium heavy. You can use whatever catfish setup you want to. I prefer Baitcasters with braid, because you just put more line, and then the you know, the strength to diameter for the line is a lot stronger on braid. I know a lot of people out there hate braid. I know a lot of people out there hate Baitcasters, but you can use whatever you want. I just like having a Baitcaster because I don't have any problems casting it. I know people out there, they can't stand Baitcasters. They can't cast them, and then they end up with a big mess on their hands, and you know, it leaves a bad taste in their mouth. But once you get used to Baitcasters, man, it's like having a winch on your rod. But you know, if you like using spinning, that's cool. And then there's people that like using the Zebco styles. That's fine too. That's fine too. You know, whatever you use is, you know, use whatever is comfortable for you. So I got 65-pound braid here, and I like using sinker slides. Here, I'll show you why I like these sinker slides. So I'm gonna go ahead and tie my swivel on first. I think this is like a 80-pound swivel or something. Swivel, it doesn't say. Just make sure you get some heavy duty swivels if you're gonna use swivels. These probably hold like 80 pounds or something. And then what I like to do with this is, since it's short, I just do a polymer knot. That's pretty easy. Just feed the line through once, and then double it back through that same hole. Your tag end there. So see, you got a loop on this end, and your tag end's back through on this end. And you just take the loop and make an overhand knot with the loop. So there. Let me switch it. There we go. So now we have one overhand knot with the loop on this end, and we're just gonna bring this loop back around the swivel, and then just grab your main end, wet this down a little bit. As you wet it down a lot, do it kind of grimy, and then just pull on your main end, and just tighten everything up. Then we'll cut off the tag end. And then I got these quick clips. I'm I used to like these a lot, like how I got the loops on my rigs down here. you can easily switch them out. But I feel like sometimes these clips get weakened over time and it opens up, and I've lost rigs. Like I'll cast out a rig, I haven't gotten a bite on it, reel it up, and my rig's gone. You know, I still got this stuff here, but I'll see that this is opened up a little bit, and then my hook and leader is gone. So it's not perfect. I know I got a lot of whisker seeker stuff here. It's just what I got. Just use whatever you got. Yeah, I just clipped that onto the swivel, and now I can easily switch out rigs with this quick clip here. So that's the good thing about it. But sometimes maybe it's a little too quick. I've lost a few liters. That's for sure. It's essentially like a heavy duty paper clip here. Let's see. So you just clip it in there. Boom, rigged up. If you want to switch out, pull it back up. Say I want to switch out to the Big Bertha, big chunky rig. That loop I got on my leader from earlier. Whoop, let's not get tangled here. Clip it on. Boom, easy. And you're probably thinking, hey, you don't have any weight on there. That's why I like these sinker slides. You don't have to tie them. They got like grooves in here. And I'll get into a little bit why I like sinker slides. Like even if you get the ones that you gotta tie on, they still make a big difference because you can switch out your weights. So I'm gonna feed my line into these grooves here. Yeah, now this thing slides up and down your line. You know, there's a bunch of different versions of this. Well, these ones in particular, you don't have to tie on. It's a little bit bulkier, so that's the downside. And then they make smaller. They're a lot smaller, but you gotta tie them on there, or you gotta thread them through your line. But most of them will have this clip here, so this comes in handy. I got a 2-ounce sinker here. Let's say I'm fishing a lake, there's no current. 2 ounces, fine, whatever. Then I go to a river. Oh, I need 4 ounces. Then you just unclip this, put a 4-ounce sinker on without having to retie your whole rig. And that's what it basically boils down to. Like all these little accessories I'm using. Some people would say this is a little excessive for catfish. It's all to just simplify, but complicated at the same time. It just makes everything quicker. So, you know, changing weights, changing rigs, all these little things, you know, especially when you're out on the water, instead of sitting there trying to retie everything, you just, oh, I need a new sinker, unclip it, need a new leader, unclip it. Makes it a lot easier. That's why I use these rigs. So, yeah, I'm gonna leave this one on here. Oh, and another thing, when you're traveling, and you're having these sinkers bouncing around, they're pretty annoying, they're banging up on stuff. You just unclip it, leave all this other stuff on, and then just throw it in your bag. Ooh, hit the, hit the ceiling. I'm gonna rig up my rods, and then all the extra stuff I'm gonna put in my bag. Show you guys my bag real quick, and then I think we're gonna wrap it up. I think I'm gonna put a bobber rig onto my last setup. Actually, I don't know. Last time I went chasing big blues and had a bobber rig out, I only caught one fish on it. But if you guys want me to do like a little video on my bobber setup, I guess I can. It's basically really simple. Basically, you got a slip bobber, the same setup here with the sinker slide and whatnot, but the bobber goes above the sinker slide, and you got a bobber stop above the bobber to stop the bobber, if that makes any sense. And then instead of using circle hooks, I just got these 7/0 J hooks. Should be able to hook on a big piece of bait on there. And with these extra rigs, I got all these pouches like I was talking about. So I'm gonna fill this bag up with these rigs. That way I take this out on my kayak if I need to retie, and I just reach in here like, okay, what size hook do I want to use, you know, what kind of float, whatever I got rigged up already. It's all there ready for me, easy, quick. I don't have to worry about tying while I'm out on the water. And if I need more rigs, I'll just tie like when I'm at home, or in the case of the trip, I'll just tie up some more rigs while I'm back at camp or whatever. But that's gonna do it for me. If you guys like this kind of video, give it a like. If you want to see more, hit that subscribe button. Catch you guys later. Now I'm gonna take a shot. Cheers, Dara. Cheers.
I hope that's in the bloopers.
Drink responsibly. Whew.